Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for May 23, 2022, the 1.2 billion euro fine. And we begin with that story from Cordery Compliance that Meta, a company formerly known as Facebook, was fined a record 1.2 billion euros for illegal EU-US data transfers. This is the largest GDPR fine ever and a huge blow to Meta. The decision found that Meta has to suspend any future transfer of personal data to the U.S. within 5 months. Notification of decision. Obviously, the fine of $1.2 billion. It must bring its processing operations into compliance with EU GDPR by ceasing the unlawful processing of such data. It's rather unbelievable that Meta could get caught this badly. Nevertheless, they did not comply with EU law. Next up, from Bloomberg Law, there was a whistleblower decision which was sealed by a federal appeals court and last week, and that award was unsealed today around a decision by the SEC to not award a component of a whistleblower award to an individual. It was rather stunning that the court would seal this. Nevertheless, the court overturned its decision and allowed it to be unsealed. We have a story about succession, and not the Tom Fox, Karen Woody podcast series on succession, but succession in the real world and in the real world of business. And that, of course, is Jamie Dimon at JPMorgan Chase. They're about to hold their investor day, and one of the biggest questions will be, what is Jamie Dimon's succession plan? Does he have a succession plan? Are there any others who could replace him? Who are some of the key stakeholders in this issue? He hasn't laid out, or JP Morgan rather, hasn't laid out its succession plans. And if they don't really move forward, it would be not be very surprising to see these people leave the bank for their own opportunity to run an organization. And our final story comes to us from MLex. Somebody sent it to me, so I can't link to it. But in the just sordid affairs of the Serious Fraud Office, when they fired the lead investigator in the Unoil case because the U.S. DOJ didn't like him, and he didn't like the DOJ going back on its word around that, and then they fired him for better relations with the DOJ. Well, that person named Tom Martin won his employment case and was awarded £350,000 and an apology from the SFO. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.